Hi there. The US federal government has a problem, and it's a big one. The average age of a federal employee right now is approximately 87 years old. All right, so I exaggerate, but it's not that far off. People are retiring, and there's a massive dearth of young talent joining the federal workforce. Only about 7% of the government's workforce is under 30, and I'm guessing they may not be the cream of the crop. What super motivated, really smart 30-year-old wants to work in a federal bureaucracy? Probably not very many. However, smart 30-year-olds do want purposeful work, i.e., something meaningful. They want to make a difference. And theoretically, doing purposeful work for one of the world's major superpowers should allow them to make that difference. Security concerns of remote workers have been a problem for the establishment. What that establishment doesn't grasp is that things like technology matters. Cool tools and the latest and greatest are what makes a job attractive, not old men doddering around. The government must accept the new realities, or everyone that works there will eventually just age out. They have to not only allow remote work, but they have to invest heavily in the technologies. Security is paramount regardless of whether it's in person or online, so that's no longer really an excuse anymore. The government needs to reinvent itself to go where the puck is going, not just where it has been. The future of federal workers can't be confined to the past. The government really must start thinking and acting in ways that will attract the best and the brightest, not the ones who couldn't get a job anywhere else. Zoom believes that video and phone will merge as a single platform ultimately, and I agree. Zoom exploded during the pandemic when we all learned that we could effectively operate and function while not wearing any pants. Once we became a mobile society again, we not only had to put pants back on, but we needed both phone service and video. Zoom and I think that one platform that enables us to start out on the phone while driving to the office and then seamlessly switching over to video once we're there is the future. It only makes sense. Why would we want two tools to address the exact same issue? We wouldn't. Which makes me think it's only a matter of time before Zoom's real competitors, namely Apple and Microsoft, get into the game in earnest. We already FaceTime every day. And now not only on iPhones, we already use Teams, so both of those giants could set the market if they focused on it. Apple has the upper hand in my opinion, but Microsoft is absolutely no slouch. Regardless, these are two massive, big, nasty competitive companies to have to go head to head with if you're Zoom. And speaking of Zoom and the new world order of how we work, wasn't it fun to see the Better.com CEO fire 900 people all at once on a 3-minute Zoom call? Now that's efficiency. Yikes. I spent some time enjoying a cocktail with a big bank CIO recently who shared some really interesting perspectives. He told me that they now had about 15% of their apps running out in the public cloud in one form or another. And when I asked why so low, he had an interesting response. They were concerned in having too much in one cloud provider, but also worried about having to manage and maintain applications executing in different clouds. He did not mention security as a top concern, which I thought, interesting. He was more concerned with cloud silos than other issues. I asked him how many legacy silos they still maintained, and the answer was, of course, a ton. So why be so concerned with cloud silos when the real problem is all the legacy silos? His answer, which was essentially, we have learned to deal with legacy silos as bad as they are. We have a long history with them. We know how to manage them. So it really comes down to being frightened by what's new and hugging on to what's old, even if what's old is awful. I'm not sure if this is generally how it works inside of big banks, but my guess is that, yeah, it is. Sometimes the most advanced companies from a resource and a technology adoption perspective are also the slowest to give up the ghosts of the past. And speaking of banks being dumb, the Bank of Ireland was fined 24.5 million euros by the central bank for business continuity failures directly related to their inability to withstand IT failures. That's over $27 million for you Americans out there. For about 5 to 10 million in investment, I would guarantee that they could have a real business continuity plan in place, and one that actually works. I'd spend half of that money on the solutions and keep the other half. I'd probably buy a big giant boat, but I digress. The point is that even after all the advancements we've made technologically, the business end of the bank was either too greedy or too stupid to realize that they could have not only saved a giant pile of money, but actually protected themselves and their customers at the same time. These are simply no longer impossible problems to solve. They only require time, money, and some business competence. While I don't know the details, I've been doing this for long enough to know that whatever issues they have were probably solved technically over 10 years ago, and most of them probably 20 years ago. So was it just blissful ignorance or a total lack of regard? I don't know. Either way, it's a waste of money, and if I were a Bank of Ireland customer, I'd probably feel more secure putting my money into Guinness. Finally, since we're on the topic of business continuity, AWS caused mayhem throughout the globe yesterday by going down. Businesses large and small, including Amazon themselves, were thrown for a loop as some outage caused huge, very visible pain across the entire global economy. It's one thing to lose access to Amazon Prime Video, but they couldn't even communicate with their own delivery network. As great as the cloud is, 100% reliance on the magic of the cloud is just plain stupid. While it was terrible that Netflix couldn't stream Korean horror movies to me, what if the outage was even more problematic? For example, ESG's Christophe Bertrand tells me that over a third of companies don't even realize they need to back up SaaS applications, which just so happen to run on the massive cloud services like AWS or Google. Worse than that, even those companies who actively back up their SaaS environments are only doing just that. They're backing up. What happens when your cloud fails? Backup and recovery is not the same as business continuity or disaster recovery. Anyway, that's enough for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.